I only play in 2 quarterback and super flex leagues. If it's a single quarterback league, the only reason I would ever join is if it's experts only. And then I'm playing in the league for marketing purposes. I can rationalize it. But otherwise, I'm only interested in playing in leagues where quarterbacks matter. So I'm in a 2 quarterback league that was 10 teams. And the league administrator decided he wanted to expand the league to 12 teams. Great. However, I disagreed with his approach. Because in this particular league, my team was stacked top to bottom. Not a lot of studs, but a lot of high-quality players. In my opinion, it was the deepest team in this league. And there's a lot of great dudes in this league. Josh Lake from 2QBs.com is in this league. Jeff Miller from Dynasty League Football is in this league. A bunch of owners that I like and respect. The league administrator is a good guy, and he recognized that the league expansion would hurt my roster more than any other. And I appreciated the fact that he went out of his way to recognize that. In order to facilitate expansion, I was being forced to jettison 10 players, whittle a team of 28 down to 18. The problem is the bottom of my roster included players like Tyreek Hill, Cameron Meredith, Quincy Enunwa, Tyler Lockett, Brashad Perriman, Robbie Anderson. Young players with upside. Young players that Dynasty Leaguers covet. Those are the players you want in your developmental slots. But I couldn't keep 10 of them. So my team was disproportionately impacted by this poorly conceived expansion initiative. Also, an arbitrary rule was passed that you could only hold and roster 3 quarterbacks. I happen to have 4 starting quarterbacks on my roster. So the expansion initiative impacted me the most. But did I complain on the message board? No. You'll hear no bitching from me. Why? Because I'm an adult. That's why. Because complaining on message boards about league rules and about trades is lame. It's something that children do. Whining and complaining about fantasy football. Fantasy football, the least serious activity in our entire society. Fantasy football is already a colossal waste of time. So much so that it is a drain on the American workforce's productivity numbers. Now, think about what a waste of time it is for you to complain about that particular activity in a public forum. It's something you would expect from a child, not from an adult. I have a mortgage. I have a daughter. I'm an adult. I do not spend time complaining on message boards about fantasy football. So instead, I rolled up my sleeves, literally rolled my sleeves up. My sleeves were down. I read the email about league expansion. I decided to roll these sleeves up. And I went through the process of proposing 3-for-1 trades, win-wins, for those that didn't have the depth of talent on their rosters that I did. And what happened? Multiple trades were accepted, and the owners I didn't trade with complained on the message board because of course. Of course! I got an email today from Daniel Lindsay alerting me that he's still waiting for an explanation of my Duke Johnson trade and my Kenny Britt trade. I traded Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa, and Brandon Marshall for Kenny Britt. Why? Because Kenny Britt was one of the best players in the NFL last year, plus 36.5 target premium, number 2 in the league. The target premium factors out quarterback play. You can imagine Kenny Britt going to literally any other team and becoming a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside. That's Kenny Britt. This is an exciting time for Kenny Britt Dynasty owners because no matter what team he lands on, it will be a dramatic improvement from the LA Rams. Get Kenny Britt in Dynasty, and that's exactly what I did. Duke Johnson led the NFL in yards per touch last year. So, of course, I'm going to trade Jared Goff and Latavius Murray for Duke Johnson. Of my 4 quarterbacks, Jared Goff was clearly the worst. And once it was announced you could only keep 3 quarterbacks, there was no market for Goff because most teams already had 3 starting quarterbacks on their roster. I was completely fucked. But luckily, I found a suitor for Goff and Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray, who was revealed last year to be a poor man's Lamar Miller, an even faker bell cow. His touches were reduced from 2015, and there were weeks in which he was outscored by either DeAndre Washington or Jalen Richard. These trades help me reduce my roster down to 18 and improve the talent on a per-player basis. Those were my goals, and those are what I achieved. And Daniel Lindsay, at Bitter Packer Fan, wants me to explain this to him. He feels entitled. He should be one of the beneficiaries of my fire sale. He feels entitled to an explanation from me. And I can tell you, there's one thing that Daniel Lindsay will never get, and that is an explanation from me about why I did this trade. Who the hell is Daniel Lindsay to think that I answer to him? The level of entitlement in this request, the level of arrogance in this request is stunning. And then I find out that he's been mocking me on the message board, lamenting these unfair trades. Oh, you didn't get enough for Jared Goff. I wanted Jared Goff. Why didn't you trade with me? Mom! Matt Kelly's trading with other people that he likes better than me. I wanted Jared Goff. Ah! Did you have Duke Johnson on your team, who I love? No, you didn't. Did you read the terms of the expansion draft? No, you didn't. Don't you know I have to cut my roster down to 18? Wake up. I'm not your fantasy football babysitter, Daniel, at Bitter Packer Fan. We need to troll Daniel Lindsay. Everyone, pull up your Twitter and send a tweet to at Bitter Packer Fan. Don't be mean. Send him something clever. Mention Kenny Britt. Mention Duke Johnson. Let's educate Daniel Lindsay, because clearly he's never heard of playerprofiler.com. He doesn't listen to Roto Underworld Radio. And the beauty is, because he doesn't listen to the show, I am justifying my trade to everyone except Daniel Lindsay, because I am not accountable to your ignorance, Daniel. It's not my problem you don't know how good Duke Johnson is, and you don't know how bad Latavius Murray is. It's not my problem you don't know how good Kenny Britt is, and how his situation will improve dramatically in the next couple months. These are not my problems. I don't answer to you. You're not my father. You're a child. I have over 10,000 followers. I have a website that gets over 2 million hits per year. I have a podcast that 10,000 people download. What are your credentials? Because you're positioning yourself as an authority. You have determined that I was fleeced, that I am player dumping, that I am not getting enough value in return. You are the authority, Daniel. Clearly you're the authority. Read these message board posts. Quote, I'm not a proponent of vetoes in any league, but this was ridiculous. It's an obviously unfair trade. Someone else wrote, Murray is better than Duke by a wide margin. What? The fuck are you talking about? The idea that Latavius Murray is significantly better than Duke Johnson. This is why Dynasty Leagues are so easy to win. But it doesn't matter. All that matters is how I value these running backs. And I've posted my valuations of all running backs on playerprofiler.com/player-rankings. All anyone in any league needs to do is go to that website, subscribe to playerprofiler.com, and there you'll see that I have Duke Johnson as a top 20 running back, and I have Latavius Murray outside the top 20. So no, I do not think that Latavius Murray is a better dynasty asset than Duke Johnson. What? Just silly. Silly thing to say. And it would make sense that the person that said it would have the handle Bitter Packer Fan, because he is quite clearly bitter. My question is he just bitter or is he butthurt? Do a poll, contact the show at Roto Underworld, or email us rotounderworld@gmail.com. Is Daniel Lindsay bitter or butthurt? What an apropos Twitter handle. Because he goes on, if there can't at least be a vote on vetoing this trade, so a vote for a vote, if we can't at least vote on voting, well, that really affects the balance of this league, because wherever Jared Goff goes, that team has a huge advantage. disrupted the competitive balance of the league. League integrity gone now that Jared Goff has changed teams. This is the best part. Wait for it. Wait for it. This is the best. My favorite part. Are you ready? Roto Underworld audience, are you ready? Are you ready for Daniel Lindsay to activate his hyperbole machine? Brinksmanship on the behalf of @BitterPackerFan. Are you ready? If we don't have a vote on vetoing this trade, I don't know if I can play in this league anymore. I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't think I can. Jared Goff! He's gone. He changed teams. No! The horror! I can't play in a league like this. Have you no integrity, Fantasy Mansion? Where is your soul, Potfather? Your ethics? Your morality? I don't think I can play in this league anymore. That message board post courtesy of @ButthurtPackerFan. And now Daniel Lindsay wants me to explain myself. I need to carve time out of my day to justify a fantasy football trade to Daniel Lindsay. That sounds like a great use of time, doesn't it? Because he is the great authority of player valuation. Yes, yes. He knows who will score more fantasy points for the rest of their career. Yes, yes. Daniel Lindsay, the human lifetime value calculator. And who am I? What are my credentials? What do I know about player valuations? What are my credentials? You're asking me to explain myself to justify these trades. You need an explanation, Daniel. Who the hell are you to ask me for an explanation? What have you done? How many followers do you have? Point me to your website. How do I listen to your fantasy football podcast? That's what I thought.